very passionate about this project. We are a 24/7 emergency shelter for displaced children. And before we get into the presentation, we would like to lay down a foundation, just so you guys can have a real true understanding of who we are. This is very representative. This is the bedrock of our foundation. There was a gentleman who was infirmed for 38 years, okay? And there was a pool in Bethesda. And once a year, an angel would come and stir the waters. This is biblical, okay? I'm not making this up. And the first person to arrive at the pools of Bethesda would be healed of whatever infirmity they had. So there's a story of this gentleman who was paralyzed. So he was never gonna make it to the pools of Bethesda. He was never gonna be healed. Jesus had to go meet him exactly where he was at. And one day, that's exactly what happened. He found a hopeless situation and turned it around. And that is the bedrock of our foundation.
So when we were in church, I'm like, man, this is like what we want to do for these kids. Like we want to create a place for these kids who are hurt, where they can come and be healed and feel safe, just like these people who are trying to be healed at the pools of Bethesda. And I said, Sarah, like what a great name for our business. How about the Bethesda Center, which in Hebrew means the house of grace. Annually, on average, there's about 58,120 confirmed cases of children that are displaced from their homes throughout the state. And these kids are displaced for several reasons, and you can look at these here. Physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, abandonment, medical neglect, physical neglect, sex trafficking is a big one, labor trafficking, and neglectful supervision. And then the graph just shows kind of how the percentage of which ones they're removed from for the house more than others. So the state of Texas, big state, right? 58,000 kids that are removed from their homes. The state breaks it up into regions, okay? And we're region number 11. So that includes about 19 counties in our region, which runs really from south of San Antonio to almost Corpus Christi, the Rio Grande Valley.
Yes.
So if you look there's 19 counties. Webb County is highlighted. And there's a few things that are important to note here. On average, in our region, okay, so there's 58,000 in the state of Texas that are removed from their homes. In our region, Region 11, these 19 counties, on average in any one month, there's 1,400 kids that are floating around in the system, looking for places to go that have been removed from their homes and need help. Of those 19 counties there, Webb County is the second highest number of displaced children on a monthly basis. And what's really important to note here in Webb County is that just in Webb County, okay, that's not the other 19 counties, just here in our county, there's 105 kids on average per month that don't have anywhere to go. They're floating around. Now think about this. If you have grandkids or you have your own kids or your nieces or nephews, think about that, put it in perspective. Your grandkids get removed from the home for whatever reason. Nobody can take them. They're floating around somewhere in this system, all right? And think about how scary that would be. Put yourself in those kids' shoes for a second. The police come, they take you from your house. You don't know what's going on at 6 years old, at 8 years old. You don't understand. Now, the issue I want you to think about this too, when we were talking about the business, we wanted to make it large enough because right now, these kids, you may have siblings, and the siblings can't all go to one home. So you may go to one home here in Laredo, if there's a spot. You may go somewhere in San Antonio, and then your other sibling may be somewhere in Houston. So think about that if you're the grandparents and you can't maybe take these kids in, but you want to go see them. You're driving all over the state to see your grandkids. And then think about your kids now. If you got pulled away from your brothers and your sisters at 6 and 8 years old and you didn't understand because there wasn't a place big enough to take all of you and care for all of you and keep you together, and that doesn't exist here.
One thing that I'm very excited about is just at the launch of this organization, we will create 25 new jobs for Laredoans. If a child has the option of hope and can see that and have that sense of peace, now this is a new option that they have for their future. Now it's no longer dismal. Now they don't have to necessarily continue doing drugs or going back to those same habits that they saw their parents. Now they're going to be exposed to something different. Wow, there's a faith option. There's a God, just like the God who miraculously saved or healed the gentleman at the pool of Bethesda Center. They're going to be seeing that message as they are in our shelter. And it's just going to give them another option. Well, maybe I'll go this way. Maybe I'll trust in God.
Please share our story. If anybody that you talk to, if you're doing newsletters or blogs, please include us because you haven't heard the last of us. Like, we're going to keep going until we find a place and until we do this. And we really want to do it here because there's such a need.